Hi, this is Chaim Metzger of Beit Midrash Zichron Dov, and today's video is dedicated by Francis and Moshe Goldstein in honor of their grandchild, Blythe Goldstein. Yesterday, we were discussing the beauty of the Hebrew language as described by Rabbi Yehuda Halevi. Unfortunately, we don't truly grasp the beauty of the words that he used to describe it as it's originally written in Arabic, but I'm going to do my best to describe to you his beautiful arguments as explained in translation via the translation of Kuzari by Rabbi Daniel Karabkin. So yesterday we discussed how Hebrew has unique historical and logical value. That is not the only thing that Hebrew has. Hebrew also has another benefit. So the response to yesterday's arguments, we had the King of Kuzar say, the benefit of all these citations and others like them merely proves that Hebrew is as beautiful as other languages. But how is it better? In fact, all other languages seemingly are more superior in the ability for poem and lyrics when used for singing due to their ability to have beautiful structure, whether it be iambic pentameter or other types. So then the Chaver says, the rabbi says, it is clear to me that lyrics do not need to be balanced if they are meant to be a spoken language. For example, even though some lines in Tehillim, Psalms, do not have the same number of syllables, one can definitely sing the words of Hodu Hashem Ki Tov, praise the God for he is good, with the same meter as to he who makes great wonders, Lo Sen of Lo Gadolot. This is true, however, only with songs that are controlled by their speaker. Because a person, when speaking it, can pause and join at the right place. But regarding poems which were composed for public recital and have symmetrical qualities, the Jews were not interested in them because they cared about something which is far more valuable and exalted than that. The King of Kuzar was interested in this, and he asked, "What is that? What is possibly greater than the beauty of Arabic prose?" So the Chaver continues. The purpose of language is to allow that which is within the soul of the speaker to enter into the soul of the listener. This purpose cannot be accomplished unless two people are in fact face to face. This is the advantage that the spoken word has over the written word. As the verse says, "Mipi sofrim v'lo mipi sifarim," from the mouths of scribes and not from the mouths of the books. One can better understand oral communication because the speaker pauses at the conventional stops, speaks continuously when the sentences should be connected, and uses harsh or soft intonation. The speaker can also use body language, eye movement, expressions of the mouth, and so on, to indicate that he is amazed, inquisitive, engaged in providing ordinary information, hopeful, fearful, or submissive. These body signals convey the message which more efficiently than a message which often lacks them. A speaker can be aided by the movements of his eyes and eyebrows, his head, his hands, in communicating his anger, his desire, submissiveness, or arrogance to the desired degree. This remnant which we possess of our language, which was created by God, unlike the other languages, contains certain acute and penetrating features which were embedded within it to explain the content and to take place of those gestures which are communicated in face-to-face contact. These features are the cantillation signs, the ta'amim, which we use to read our holy texts. They indicate where to pause, where to continue reading. They differentiate the question from the answer, the subject from the predicate, that which is said hastily from that which is said slowly, that which is commanded from that which is requested. Whole books can be written on the subjects. And finally, one who wishes to accomplish all this will forego measured poetry, which can only be recited in one way. One who recites in meter will end up proceeding where one should pause, and pausing where one should proceed. To remedy this, it would take great difficulty. And the response, of course, by the Chaver is, you are right. The benefit of the acoustic should be sacrificed for the benefit of the understanding. Metered poetry provides a pleasant sound, but this tradition you mentioned, that of Hebrew and that of its cantillations, explains the content. Yet, I see your Jewish community toiling to compose meter poetry imitating others? Why are you using Hebrew according to everybody else's standards? The Chaver responds, this is because we have strayed and we have rebelled. Not only have we forsaken this advantage, we are corrupting the very essence of our language. It was designed to unify, but instead we have made it a source of disunity. Kuzari then asks, in what way? Chaver responds, have you ever seen 100 people reading the same text as if they're one person, pausing at the same time and commenting at the same time? King of Kuzar says, I have already considered this, and indeed, I have never seen anything like it, neither in the Roman or Arabic lands. This could not occur with the recitation of poetry. Tell me how Hebrew managed to do so and how metered poetry destroyed this. And the Chaver says, this is because Hebrew has unique grammatical elements that allow for a certain complexity. The details are a little more are more than we have time for, but I'd like to conclude with the final note that they have in this discussion. The question is, why do Jews go back and forth when they are reading Hebrew? Why is there a tendency of many people to shuckle? And the response is because there's something unique about the Hebrew language. Chaver responds to the Kuzar saying that why do we always move back and forth when reciting Hebrew and praying? Not simply because we're confused or fidgety. Rather, it's because the nature of the words of Hebrew are tied to books. And when they're in books, people would each have to gather around and read one of them. We desired all to share in our common tradition, in our common way of reading. By doing so, if multiple people would gather around one large book, they would each lean in to get a better view, and they'd each take turns. One of the unique experiences of the Hebrew language, as opposed to others, is that it's not simply an individual relationship with the language, with the poetry. Rather, it is a communal one. It is when a whole group comes together to look into a source and to properly appreciate it. And for that very reason, Rabbi Yehuda Levi didn't only write the Kuzari, which was in Judeo-Arabic, but he also wrote many Hebrew works as well in the language of Hebrew. So yes, Kuzari may have put it best, but to truly appreciate the Hebrew language, one must continue to read and learn and understand the Hebrew language in all of its beautiful words and prose and poetry in all of its various forms.